Welcome back to the Physique Development Podcast. Today's episode is, I don't know, a fan favorite, but it's a Sue favorite of doing a Q&A. I like just chit-chatting with you, being able to go through some things. So
I love chatting with you as well.
Okay, sweet. You want to dive into things?
Let's dive right in.
All right. So if I am checking all of the boxes but not seeing progress, what is the first thing you would think as a coach is the issue?
Gosh, so many things. But the first thing is probably sleep. I'm probably looking at sleep first. And most of the time when people come back and say their sleep is good, they don't really actually know if their sleep is good. And they're just tracking when they think they get in bed and when they think they get up. And so getting into more of the specifics with sleep would be step number one. If that's really in a good place, then from there, we want to look at digestion. If sleep, then digestion, and we get into the weeds there and everything's good, then from that point, then we want to see what training looks like. But I think a lot of people jump directly to my training program sucks and I need to fix this or get a new training program, when the sleep and the digestion have to be in check for anything within the training to actually work. And so that is the sequence that I would be looking at things.
I do 100% agree with you, but I will say when I first read this question, my first thought went to training intensity. Again, with everything that you just said, I do agree that that would be the sequence that I would go through, but I think that I answered immediately training intensity because I had a handful of clients recently where they really on their intake form, their onboarding form, they truly were checking a lot of the boxes. And it was kind of in my head of like, what are they not doing correct? And once I saw their training videos and saw their training intensity, I was like, okay, that's the missing piece right there. But I will backpedal my initial answer because I do believe that that sequence is the best. That was just the first thing that came to mind for me.
Can understand that.
Now, since I brought up clients, what results do your clients usually see in the first 3 months?
I think this works in a tier system where if you are in the first tier that we'll call like struggling with habits at the current time, haven't tracked recently, and are in a mental place where you're so fed up that you are ready to really change things for yourself and jump right in and get habits online and be tracking your food and get up to date with training, there is a ton of progress that can occur within that first 3 months. Then you have a second tier of people who are going to be coming in. They've got some habits in a good spot, but need to really dial in some stronger ones, which I would say most people fall into this tier. And they are exhausted with not seeing the progress. And I think that these people actually see the most progress because as soon as they click with the 1, 2, or 3 habits that need to be fixed, and we get things online, potentially within hormonal function or digestion or training specifically, that's the group that they've got a good foundation, but we just need to get some of the details in a better spot. So if we were to give more specific progress, let's say that they're in a fat loss phase, or they're wanting to see fat loss and their body is in a position to actually do so, then we could see anywhere between 10 and 15 pounds of fat loss in that first 12 weeks. That means that you have to come to us ready though. Mm-hmm. How many people have come in and they've been dieting and they haven't had their menstrual cycle? And so it's like, you can't come in and just be like, all right, since I'm here, now you're going to actually adhere to your food and everything's going to change. There are some instances where that happens, but most of the time it's not. And that individual has to spend the first 2 to 3 months restoring their hormonal function and nourishing their body better to actually get into a spot to see the fat loss in maybe the next 3-month increment of their time working with us. And so it is so dependent on what is your state when you come to us of what you're able to accomplish in that first 3 months. And not always are you in a spot to accomplish the goal that you want. And us as coaches who are looking out for your health have to be able to speak up and say, this is not going to fly. This is not going to be the goal here. There are things that need to happen before this, and you're going to be so much happier and you're actually going to accomplish your goal if you follow through with what I'm laying out right now, even though it's not exactly what you're wanting right this moment. And we have to have some delayed gratification and be okay with that.
I love that you brought that up of just being able to truly be that coach in that situation, because I feel like some coaches fall into just wanting to make the client happy. But I want to look at long term, what's actually going to get them to their goals instead of temporarily like quote, giving them what they want, but it's actually not what they want because they don't know what is going to get them to their goal. But I actually thought, because I've been reviewing client cases recently, that I would go through 3 different instances of clients and like what those first 3 months looked like. So client A is someone who came to me who had a very social lifestyle in a place where she traveled a lot, again, was social multiple days a week. And with her job, she was very sedentary. And she was in a place where she was consistently moving, like going to Pilates classes, going to like some group fitness classes, but she wasn't ever doing anything with food beforehand. And so within the first 3 months, while we didn't see a ton of physical change to her body, we really did allow her to maintain her physique through being social. And that's what I had to talk with her about. If she was like, hey, I was hoping to see more physical change for these first 3 months. And I was able to talk with her and be like, hey, let's reflect back to before we started working together. Do you think over this summer of being able to be as flexible as you've been going on, she went on like 4 or 5 trips during that 3-month time frame. Do you think that you would feel this way about your body in the past? And she was like, no, I've always had huge fluctuations with weight. And so it was being able to be in this place of, hey, you can maintain this and you've built habits. And like you said, we had to really build that foundation. She wasn't in the place that we could diet right then when we started her, but it was really cool to see how she was able to make it more of a lifestyle than she ever had in the past, because she's really just done a bunch of crash diets in the past and not been able to stick to things. So that was a really cool example of someone within those first 3 months of she now understands food. She's able to have that flexibility, and she is able to now be in a place that we're going to go into a diet with all of those skill sets coming in. So the client B that I'll talk about is someone who had a vacation coming up in 3 months, and they're like, I want to diet right away. I want to get into this. But they were dealing with a ton of inflammation and digestion issues, and just in a place where they were checking a lot of the boxes, but again, they weren't getting the results that they wanted to get. And so what we really went through, because her quality of life was going down, not only within feeling wonky within her digestion and her inflammation, but it was also something where she felt a ton of restriction because she had consumed so much information online. She was like, do I do this diet? Is this the perfect diet? Is this the best diet? And I'm like, let's figure out how this fits into your life. And it was really cool because after 3 months, not only even without dieting did she lose 11 pounds, her digestion, she finally was regularly going to the bathroom in the mornings, which was incredible. Her inflammation was down, but even got a note from her husband of just being able to be like, she is a much better person to be around. We can also go out to dinner and it's not this super stressed thing or I have to get all of this extra movement in. And that was so rewarding of not only her being like, I feel like I'm actually living my life, but for her husband to be like, thank you for kind of giving me my wife back in this time frame. So that was really cool. Even though she wasn't dieting, was able to have that weight loss because we were able to get that inflammation and really work on her lifestyle altogether. And that happened in the first 3 months.
That's awesome.
And then client C is a situation where she was coming to us with some gut issues and was in like a very high stress state. And she again was wanting that fat loss starting off. But she also was in a place where she hadn't been training because she had kind of lost her love for training and wasn't in a place where she wanted to train and move her body. And within those first 3 months, she talked about how she felt like she had gained more strength in the past 3 months than she had in the past 2 years. She finally was back and falling in love with the gym again and enjoying her time in that gym, and was able to be in a place where she thought with her gut issues, she couldn't train. And so being able to still stay mobile while we continued to work on gut issues for her. But it was something where her overall feedback, like at her 3-month kind of touch point, was like, I actually feel good in my body and I feel capable again, instead of feeling so restricted and kind of tired of going to the gym, like excited to get in there, excited to train and to really see those progressions. So obviously, like you said, we've had people that have that type of fat loss within 3 months, but I wanted to share these examples, not only because I recently was kind of doing an audit of some different clients, but also just to truly showcase specific examples of what can happen in 3 months and what you can expect. But we really like to lay out that timeline and talk about what expectations are so that we are on the same page instead of being in a place where you kind of be like, hey, I wanted this and why didn't I get it? Because that never ends up feeling the best. But being able to really lay out the timelines for these clients allowed them to understand where they were, be in that moment, and also celebrate the success. Because otherwise, then they're like, why haven't I reached this? And they forget all of the other success that they've seen. So it's cool to show that like success can be in different ways there.
Yeah. And I would say that this comes with experience within coaching, because I would say early in my time of coaching, whatever the client said that they were trying to do, I was going to do everything I possibly could to try and make that happen, even if I knew that it was extremely unlikely that that was going to be the outcome because of where they were at. I was just doing it because it's like, that's what they wanted. And I finally have a client, basically. And so now being in the place that I am and just having had the 11 years of experience, I'm able to have so much more confidence and put them in a spot that is the absolute best, even if it is contrary to what they would like to be doing.
You know, it's crazy. We have a decade under our belt when we're like both still teenagers. Like, how's that happen?
That's not true. And I just thought that it was hilarious that one question was asked and we gave 6 answers. So it's very typical of a Sue and Alex conversation, just to give all the possible context and possibilities to what 3 months could look like for so many different types of people.
Listen, no miscommunication trope here.
Trust.
Over communication. Oh my goodness. So how do you know when to take a deload week?
There are a lot of indications. I would say you could have them be strategically placed ahead of time within your programming, understanding where you're going to have some larger pushes within the training intensity, or you have travel or vacations coming up and it lines up better with your schedule. So you could have them scheduled ahead of time. If you are doing it more as a response to your current state, you're going to be looking at a couple of things. Looking at the programming and how it is all progressing for you. Are you seeing a consistent stagnation or even a decrease in your strength within given exercises across multiple weeks of training? Are you seeing your recovery decrease relative to what it has been in that given volume and that given intensity and those different factors? So if you're finding yourself in a place where, well, previously I was sore the day after, but I could probably train that same muscle group 2 days after, and now you're in a spot where 2 days after you're still feeling debilitated, it may be a time for us to assess. It may be something where you're a new parent or you're going through a life transition and you're finding yourself in a spot where you're not sleeping all that well. It may be a perfect time for you just to jump into the deload, understanding that the greatest tool for your recovery is now cut in half, within your sleep being down. And so you may want to jump the gun there and get into a deload at that point. As we said, giving all the possible context, no possible misunderstanding. Do you have any other ones that come to mind?
I feel like you hit the main ones without making this like a whole deload podcast and going into the depths of that. So I will, leave it at that.
Concede.
And let you have that answer there. I loved this question that we got. What are the top supplements you think are worth it? And what are the top wastes of money supplements?
I'm such the wrong person for this question. I am not with supplements, I'm thinking, is this going to give me 1 or 2% of a better overall experience or have me feeling better, performing better? If so, I'm so in. So
you love supplements.
I do. I really do. And
like just playing with them, figuring things out, seeing how they work.
Yeah. I pour them out on the table and I count them. I play with them like that. With supplementation, I find that it is such an important part of adults' life because of the stress that's in place for so many people, the intensity that everyone wants to take to their life. So it's not even just the stress of being a parent, having a hard work life, not getting the best sleep, alcohol, whatever the case is. There's a lot of things that are being introduced to our life on a day-to-day basis, and to think that we're going to have such a well-rounded diet within our intake that everything is going to be crossed off the list within nutrients and minerals and everything that would be involved there to support liver function and so many other things is naive to me. I get so irritated when everyone's just like, you don't need supplements, just eat whole foods. And it's like, bitch, who's making the whole foods?
Yeah.
Who's making every single meal and making everything so well-rounded? If you're able to do that, you have the time availability to do it, or you have the capacity to pay someone to make very, very detailed meals. I love that for you. And I am so happy that that's the case. 90%, if not more, are not in that spot. And so then supplementation comes into play such an important role that you're able to fill those gaps with a pill, 3 pills, 4 pills, whatever the case is, and still be in significantly better health. And the one thing that I have to focus on so heavily is liver function for so many of my clients. And when you talk about this for people, it's like, I don't drink alcohol. It's like your liver does so much more than just processing alcohol. Like you have so many things that are going on with your liver. And if we're not eating well, we're not sleeping well, and we're putting a bunch of stress within training and our work, like your liver is in a rough spot and we need it to do a lot of things. And so giving it extra support is a tremendous benefit. And so to ask me the question of what supplements are important and which ones are, waste of time, I'm not your guy. I'm just not your guy.
And so true about it's hard to even get people to consistently meal prep their stuff, to then source that food. There's only one person that I know in our life that I think could possibly do stuff without supplements because they have such a well-rounded diet and they cook 99% of their meals from home, and they are very conscientious of the type of things that they're eating. Outside of that, there's not a single person, including myself, that I'm like, I literally do all of these things to be able to get it just from food. But I will go ahead and answer the question and just talk about supplements that I truly think almost every single person needs to be having into their diet, and also ones that basically only have an upside. There's not a downside to them. They have so much research towards them that it's these are very beneficial. And I will also link, we have either a podcast or a YouTube video or both talking through these supplements a little bit more in depth, because I don't want to go into a whole shebang about this. But fish oil, we literally need omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. Within the Western diet, we get so many omega-6 fatty acids, and we need to balance those. And so it's something where we want that balance to be a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1. With the average Western diet, it's 14-to-1. So we want to make sure we get those omega-3 fatty acids in there. So fish oil and making sure it has enough EPA and DHA, that's going to be huge. Magnesium, this is going to be something, different types of magnesium can do different things. So whether it's to help with sleep, or to help with stress, or to help with digestion, I truly think magnesium is so helpful, especially because your body depletes magnesium as your life is stressful. And as Alex stated, most of us have stressful lives. And also, if you're like, no, I'm pretty chill, training is a stress on your body. So if you do train hard, you have intensity, you are also depleting that. So magnesium is the second one there. The third one is vitamin D. And let me tell you something, if you're like, I'm outside a lot, you're probably not outside and in the sun as much as you think that you are. You possibly could be, but I had someone recently who was like, oh, because it was the summer, I stopped taking vitamin D. We got labs back, critically low vitamin D, even though they were outside, quote unquote, every day.
And getting a vitamin D lab ordered, which we're able to do for you, is extremely cheap. So it's like, if you don't care about any other blood value and you just want to see where your vitamin D levels are at, which I would encourage getting tested prior to supplementing with it, just, because you're like, well, I think it's probably a good idea. I would say it's less than $15.
Mm-hmm. Easy peasy. And then the fourth one is one that I just think, again, has so much upside. I'm not like, this is absolutely necessary for you to have in place, but creatine, it is going to have so much benefit, and not only for your muscles and your energy, but there has been so much research coming out when it comes to brain function. And I don't know about you, but I want my brain to be working and moving the way that it needs to. So those are just the 4 that first came to mind of these have so much upside, and they are the ones that I probably recommend the absolute most to people. But I do agree with you of it's very hard to just put a straight label on that or just say these are complete wastes of money, because it's also a supplement protocol outside of some of these is very specific. So I tend to not be on the side of oh, I'm going to talk about how this supplement is good and this is this, when it's you would need that to be specifically recommended to you instead of a vast recommendation. But these are ones I feel very comfortable vastly recommending.
I would also add ubiquinol to that list. I'd put that as number 5.
Okay.
200 milligrams.
Boom. Low reps is best.
High reps is best.
Fruit is so
It's
good.
terrible for you.
You should lift heavy.
High reps,
Carbs
low
are
weight.
needed.
Keto
Squats
for
are bad for your
Squats
knees.
are great
You
for your
should
knees.
squat
Knees over
astrograph.
toes.
It's fine. It fits my
Macros
macros.
is for idiots.
When there are so many mixed messages going around, it's hard to know what you should even do or focus on. But that's exactly where physique development one-on-one coaching comes in. You might have heard of online coaching or even hired a coach before, but we believe in teaching you the why behind what we do while truly taking your life into consideration. We want to train, educate, and empower you to reach your goals and help you to stop spinning your wheels and just finally feel good. And hey, we're here to help you look good too. You need you. Your health is your wealth. So join Physique Development and let us be the last coach you ever need.
All right. What would you say is the number one thing clients say surprised them about coaching with you?
The number one thing that surprises them, how passionate I am probably, or how much I like effort I put into it and time and those different factors, and how truly customized it is. Of, let's say that, like, I have a lot of clients who travel for work, and within that, they may have 3 days where they are training at home, and then 2 days where they are traveling and needing training there. And then the training is going to look different when they're back because they have a shorter period back home before they go on the road again. And I write training for all of those given situations around what's available to them at their hotel or things of that nature. And so I think that the most surprising part is just how individualized it truly becomes, and just how passionate I am about them being able to walk away from the experience better than when they came, and being able to have the knowledge long term. Because when clients are able to ask just really good questions and be able to be present within their check-ins and really wanting to learn and expand their knowledge and those different factors, they get so much out of the coaching experience. Like, I can't do more than what I'm aware of that you're needing. And I can do my best to try and read between the lines and take my experience and say, well, because of these factors, I think that it's probably best that I start to talk about this specific thing. But that's, every so often. Whereas the ones that really take the time out to ask the questions and fill out their check-in with plenty of time just get so much more out of the experience.
Yeah. And I'll definitely piggyback off of that personalization and just the effort that's put into it. I get that feedback, especially like when someone first gets their onboarding, they're like, oh man, like you really spent time on this. It wasn't just here's your training, here's your nutrition. And that's even something we actually onboarded someone new to our team recently, and they have been in fitness for 6 years. They had their own coach. And so they were like, okay, I kind of like get the gist of what like you guys do online coaching. And I gave her explanation about our service, but it also was like, hey, the best way to really explain this to you is to show you. And outside of you actually becoming a client, I can show you examples of what an onboarding and what a check-in looks like. And she literally messaged me and was like, it feels illegal to be consuming this much information and this much good information. And like, I have an online coach and I assumed you guys had the same service. And she was like, I literally am thinking about firing my coach because this is not matching like the quality of service that you have. So that's always a huge, like, I know that's something you and I both feel extremely passionate about. And like, we don't want to do it unless we get to do it the way that we feel good about it. And truthfully, making it personalized and doing what we say we're going to do is something extremely important. So definitely say that personalization. And also, not only have I recently been like auditing some client cases, but I was going through some testimonials. I'm just like organizing a lot of things with the business right now. And I came across a testimonial from one of my clients who was like, I came to you to learn more about my training and to really like make sure I got the programming down pat, because she was a coach herself. She was like, I learned that 100%. I feel great about that. The one unexpected thing that I didn't realize was how much you helped within stress management and being able to really make sure that I was in the best spot with that. And I am very passionate, I know you are as well, about stress management, because I'm never going to just tell someone like, hey, just do less. Like, that's not really a great answer. It's like, if I could just do less, I'd probably just do less. But it's really about managing that stress, because like you and I both have high stress. It's not just going to immediately disappear, but we can manage that stress so we can handle a higher output. And I think that's something people really appreciate, that we're also not just going to be like, hey, let's just like stop training. Let's lower all this stress. Sometimes we might have to do that, but it's like, let's manage the stress that we do have so you can still have high output. And then the third thing that came to mind is mindset. And that's something where we recently got a mindset certification, all the coaches, to be able to help with this. But we truthfully care about what that looks like for how you speak to yourself, because we can give you the quote perfect plan, but it's about what's going on in between your ears sometimes. And so truthfully being able to work on that and not just be like, you didn't do the plan, try harder next week. It's like, what's going on inside your head that we need to work on here to ensure that you are actually successful. So personalization, stress management, and mindset are the top ones that come to mind for me.
I would add how involved we are with the coaches too.
Yeah.
I find that as I have more and more conversations with other coaches or inquiring clients, is that they haven't been around other services that the owners or the head coach, if you want to label me that, is as involved with all of the client cases and reviewing a majority of all the blood work that comes through and working on all of the client cases that, you know, we have. So it's like, I this is not taking a shot at anybody, but we're also probably one of 3 services that have been in the space as long as we have that haven't transitioned into business coaching, like have just stayed the course and really continue to refine and strengthen our coaching service to truly help people and stay within our mission since day one. And that's something I'm just so relentlessly passionate about.
Yeah. And that's been so rewarding, because we've had coaches that have joined the team that have worked with other teams. And we've obviously seen it with being in the space of like, it ends up that it's like, you're just a coach under this team's name and you don't really get like extra stuff from that. But I was having performance reviews a few months ago, and the 2 coaches that had come on from other team or had been on other teams in the past had literally just raved about how supported they felt, how they felt that this was truly a team, that they've been able to learn so much and truly apply, and not just be like, quote, left to their own devices and just be like, hey, go ahead and coach. It's like, yeah, I trust you as a coach, but I want you to evolve as a coach. And that's something you and I have always been on the same page about, is like, mentorship is going to be so helpful. Being able to talk through something is going to be so helpful. And also, we want to trust when we talk to a client or when we get a client on board that like they are going to get the results that we talk about. And so we want to ensure our coaches are the best coaches. And that's been something that I absolutely love, is that I truly do trust all of our coaches so much, and they're all such incredible coaches. And I love the environment that we've been able to build of like, we're figuring this all out and we're going to make sure that you have an incredible experience.
Yeah, it's a very high standard that all the coaches uphold and raise, and they compete with themselves, they compete with one another to keep raising that bar, and that's something I really admire.
Yeah, and I love how much they like now help each other
for sure.
out, because they each have like a little bit different specialty, and so they really do ask for help, because that's something anyone on the team, I need you to be able to ask questions. Yes, I want you to be able to figure it the fuck out and like use your brain and work towards an answer, but at the same time, if you don't know something, like ask someone who might have the answer for you and be able to learn from that. And it's been cool not only seeing them learn from each of us, but seeing them like be able to really collaborate with each other and be able to grow off of that.
Pretty awesome. It's taken us a while to get here. Yeah. Like just realizing that over the last how many years have we had coaches on?
Since 21. So
no,
19.
Yeah, 19.
Sorry.
I was like, not 21.
Sorry.
So 6 years, like it really has taken a lot for us to learn how to lead properly. Mm-hmm. And I feel like right now it's the best that we've ever been, and we're continuing to improve. But learning how to lead and how to create a community that is willing to ask questions, that is uplifting one another, it was far more difficult to build than what I thought it was going to be, especially it being remote. Mm-hmm. And because when I can speak for myself, where at the beginning I had been in locker rooms and around teammates that fed off of how I was in person. And so I was able to just lead by example through my actions. And you can do that a little bit, within the online space, but you have to communicate far more to cultivate that type of community. And that's the thing that I had to really learn for myself and us learn together.
Do I need cardio if my main goal is muscle growth?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Do you need more answer than that? You would like an explanation?
I personally don't need an explanation.
So when we look at muscle growth, there is going to be multiple components. We can just go down to just the base amount of heart health and being able to keep internal function in an optimal position. It's going to also allow for insulin sensitivity to be in a far greater spot, because when we look at the time horizon of that you're needing to truly build muscle, we need everything internally to be functioning as well as humanly possible for as long as humanly possible. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to put on muscle is that they cut out the cardio and they're like, I need to eat as much as possible so that I can add body weight. And then they are able to stay in this surplus for 3 months or maybe 6 months, and they put on 25 pounds and they're like, I hate how I look. I breathe heavy walking up the stairs. I have to get into a deficit. Well, the amount of muscle growth that happened in that 6-month window is fairly minimal in terms of what you could do in 2 years, a year and a half, even a year, obviously. And so you're shortchanging yourself by taking the cardio out, by not tracking your food and just eating like an asshole on a day-to-day basis in the spirit of, I'm trying to build muscle. And it's not benefiting you further doing that. And so the more that you can keep your cardiovascular health in an optimal position alongside insulin sensitivity staying in a great spot and keeping body fat that is gained to a moderate to minimum level, the better your muscle growth experience is going to be. And furthermore, the greater your mental health is going to be throughout that process. And if anyone who's listening has gone through this knows that the mental health is going to deteriorate all of this far faster than anything else. And so if you're able to like keep the cardio in.
Yeah. Well, that's what I see of like when people are in a place where they're like, oh, tracking is restrictive. It's like, I find that the only time they've tracked is in a diet, and they've gotten to a place that they're uncomfortable and they all of a sudden restrict a ton and have now put all of these guidelines on their life. And they're in this place where dieting feels so difficult. And so dieting is hard for them. I also see those same people on the other side of like, I want to build muscle. I want to be able to have this. They go to that other extreme. They feel awful. And then they're like, no, I need to restrict. I need to diet. And you're stuck in this ping ponging just back and forth, back and forth. And you're in this place where you're like, I can never gain muscle, or I always have to diet so hard. You have put yourself in that position. If you go about it in a place where you're a little bit more slow and steady, you are going to be much more mentally happy. You're going to see better physical results and have more lasting results than ever. And that's something that when that finally clicks for people is so awesome, so that they're not just, because you can start to feel like something's wrong with you when you're in this place of like, I can't feel like I'm building muscle this way. I feel awful and I feel awful this way. And then you're doing this push and pull and you can be really unhappy with even going to the gym, or you're like, I'm putting in all this effort and I'm not seeing results. And so just being able to recognize like, hey, I don't need to go to that side.
Exactly.
What is your best advice for staying on track while traveling?
Tempering your expectations for what staying on track means. So if you have a very regimented lifestyle when you're at home and you eat a majority of your meals at home, if you're wanting to try and stay on track with all those things, you're going to be traveling with a bunch of stuff. You're going to be taking a lot of stuff with you. You're going to be taking a lot of food with you. You're going to have to book probably not a hotel, but an Airbnb to where you're able to prepare meals. And so it's just a matter of having the proper expectations for what staying on track looks like. And so if you are not wanting to take a bunch of stuff and cook a bunch of meals when you're traveling and trying to relax probably, or even traveling to for work or things of that nature, then figuring out what that middle line is for you within the expectations of trying to have protein each time that you sit down. Maybe you're aiming to have 20, 25, 30 grams of protein each time you sit, and just not eating copious amounts of food, trying to be mindful within the meals that you're sitting down to have. That could be the approach that you have there. Getting in training sessions, finding a gym that you would be able to work out at that's close to you, maybe that you don't have to drive to, that you could walk to, or maybe you're able to train at the hotel gym. That is going to be setting the proper expectations is huge, because I have had clients in the past or people who come to us and they're like, I did my best to stay on track while I was out. It's like, what does that mean to you? And they don't have a concrete definition of what that is. So no matter what, they're not going to be on track. Like, they could do as best as they possibly could with what was in front of them. But no matter what, being on track is going to be just a step further or 2 steps further or whatever the case is. And so having that expectation that's properly aligned is huge.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And it truly is about, like, I hate the term on track, because it also like, I strongly believe, like, if the circumstances change, the plan has to change to a certain degree too. And so it's being able to change what those expectations are, so you're not feeling like a failure every time you travel. Because like we've talked about, that mental headspace is so important. I have clients where they'll come back from a trip, they do everything that I would have expected them to do, and maybe I've even vocalized what those expectations are, and they're like, I didn't do great. And I'm like, what does great mean to you? Because, like, to everything that you just said, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Well, I didn't do everything that I do when I'm at home. That was never the expectation. And that sense of failure makes them feel constantly like they're not doing what's right, versus being able to be in the right mental headspace. You could have the same exact actions and have better results from them just from your headspace, because also that can ensue a lot of stress. It can be a lot of doubt. It can be a lot of shame that comes into that situation. The other thing that I would say when it comes to traveling is having some sort of a plan, or taking some time to think about it. Now, that doesn't mean, again, I have to pack every single meal and I have to be perfect while I'm gone, but it might mean, hey, I'm going out of town next week. I might have to shift my sessions before I go, and I train on a day I don't normally train at when I'm home, because that's going to make it easier while I'm away and I'm not trying to scrounge for a gym while I'm away. Or, hey, I need to be aware of, I don't know what the food situation is going to be. Maybe I don't pack all of my meals, but I pack some snacks to make sure that I'm not just left high and dry. And so just not thinking of, like, traveling as like this on and off switch of just like, I have everything at home, but when I'm traveling, it's like so hard, I'm out of routine. Okay, new routine, new anchors, or the same anchors, and just rephrased in a different way for you, so you don't always feel like a failure and you don't always feel like it's everything or nothing.
And taking it in repetitions. I think an applicable example for this right now with the time of year is tailgate season. It's like, I have clients who are going to tailgates, and this is their first time trying to be mindful in that setting, where previously it's, how many shots can I take? How many beers can I drink? And how many chips am I going to inhale?
How much buffalo chicken dip is going down the gullet?
Exactly. And so you're not going to go from that being your consistent experience to all of a sudden being able to be super duper mindful. We're going to make progressions from that experience to getting to this mindful state that you're able to be fully in control. But it's not going to be one tailgate and all of a sudden it's different. And you've got to take the wins as you progress. And over time, you're just looking to be better than you were the time before that. And it is going to, the same thing of going to hotels, like it all applies.
Yeah, it definitely is repetition. And then that's also something that we help clients with when we have even a section of, like, is there any upcoming events, any kind of travel, so that we can talk them through what the expectations are, what the goals are. So it's not just like, hey, I'm going out of town in 2 days, like, tell me everything I need to do. Because then again, that's way much on yourself that you're putting, that we could have workshopped that and got you all the answers that you needed.
It's more finding 1, 2, maybe 3 things to focus on to be better than the time before. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure this has been a great listening experience to you all, for Sue and I both being sick. And we're just like trying not to sniffle in the microphone. So we're doing our best, as Sue takes the longest sniffle ever directly in the, okay. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm giving the people what they want.
That is not what they asked for. I was apologizing for it, and then you just amplified it.
Oh my gosh, they love it here. Okay.
As she does it again.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. How do you help? I'm just going to mouth breathe. How do you help?
I'm sure that'll be great in the mic too.
How do you help clients when life gets stressful or unpredictable?
This is quite the loaded question. how do we help them when life gets stressful or unpredictable? Providing guidance where we can, but also giving them certainty within the things that are within their control. I find that to be the thing, and trying to anchor within what can we control within your nutrition at this current time? What can we control within your sleep? What can we control within your training? What can we control within your day-to-day habits? Are we able to find time for yourself that we're able to just sit in silence and find some peace and not allow for us to get more overstimulated? Because it is too common that when we get into these stressed seasons that we just end up doom scrolling Instagram and comparing ourselves to other individuals, and wishing our life was different, and just making it worse. And so how can we construct the day differently to mitigate as much stress as we possibly can, and understand that I'm here as your teammate? Like, I find that a lot of people who come to us that are maybe former athletes find themselves in a spot where they see me as this coach that's going to scold them if they do anything wrong. So they want to make me proud by doing everything right, which is great. But if they aren't able to do everything perfectly, then they feel this sense of shame and guilt and feel like they shouldn't share. And that's not our coaching practice at all. It's much more of, I'm your teammate and your success is my success. And how can I help you succeed no matter what the conditions are? And we're going to work together as a team to make that a reality. So that would be, I guess, how we navigate that.
Yeah. I would just say like communication and education, because it's like, yes, things might be unpredictable for you and you might not know everything, but when we do connect, of being able to have like your feedback on how things are going and you being intentional about that, and then being able to educate you on what this can look like in your life. So it also just doesn't feel like, oh, I'm coming to you for a set of rules to then do. You're coming to me for a set of like, principles or habits of how to apply that to your life, because I'm not going to be here every time something goes awry. So I want to teach you about, in these situations, if this happens, then we do this. If this happens, then we do this. If this were to come up, here are some different options. So it also gives them confidence and it gives them power of, again, that teammate aspect of, I'm not just telling you what to do. We are having a discussion about what this looks like, and you have control over these things, and being able to feel empowered by that as well.
Yeah. I would also say that we encourage our clients, or we're trying to get every single one of our clients to a point where if something happens, their knee-jerk reaction isn't immediately to reach out to us. Mm-hmm. It's to go to the skills and principles that we are teaching, to go down that list and go through, okay, this, and this, okay, I need to make this decision, or this is going to be the best thing because of what I've been taught. And then when we have our next conversation or the next time that we meet, we're able to review what was the decision that was made, so that you are continuing to have that skill acquisition of better handling that for the future. Because you don't want to have a coaching experience. I can't tell you this enough. You do not want to have a coaching experience where anything that happens, your knee jerk is just to immediately reach out to your coach. And there was maybe a week ago where there was someone who had applied and said, you need to change this about your service. You should be this accessible to us. And I said, that is not true. I can't believe that you're telling me this, but I can tell you for sure that over the long haul, how I coach is going to be far more beneficial to you and your health than me being constantly accessible to you for anything that possibly comes up. Because trust me, I have coached like that. It's miserable for both parties.
Well, you become so dependent on the coach that
then you don't learn anything.
You don't learn anything. Then when you're done coaching, you don't see results. You're not able to maintain those results because you need that constant contact. Our goal is to get you to stop working with us. I want you to grow to a place you don't need me anymore. I want to be the last coach that you ever need. If I let you become dependent on me, I'm taking your money and I'm being a horrible person. Like, I'm literally just taking your money for the sake of taking your money. I am not teaching you anything. I might be, quote unquote, getting you results, but you can't maintain those results. So that's not success to me. You just getting results is not success to me. You being able to maintain those results is success to me. And so that's what we always want to do. So it's not because we're lazy and we don't want to answer messages. It's like we're actually putting in the extra effort to ensure that you have this for the long term.
Yeah. Exactly. Are you sick and tired of your glutes not growing? Turning around in the mirror and seeing a board for a booty? I've been coaching for nearly a decade, helping thousands of women reach their goals. The most common goal? Grow my glutes. Women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s able to grow their glutes with the guidance of my training programs. And for all this time, I've kept my best glute growth secrets only for my one-on-one clients. And that changes today. We just released our 12-week glute growth program in the PD training app. It is a 4-day program with exercise and volume adjustments every 3 weeks. You can easily access the program through our app and track every single workout. Each exercise will have a detailed video teaching you exactly how to perform each and every movement. And guess what? I am no longer gatekeeping. I'm sharing every single one of my best glute growth secrets inside this program. Because you are awesome and I want you to have this program, I'm going to give you $25 off, making it a fraction of what you spent at Starbucks this past month. Use code POD. The link to purchase will be in the description. Now let's get back to the show.
I thought we would also go into some fun questions because I know these have been
None
a lot
of those
about
were fun?
Well, they were fun, but
I thought they were fun.
These are a little bit more miscellaneous, I guess I would say.
Miscellaneous. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the most irrational ick you've ever gotten from someone?
Well, I didn't date anyone before you, so.
Well, it can just be from like a human being.
Oh, just in
person.
general?
It doesn't have to be like.
This is a long list. A long list. I don't know. Some of these are going to be so unhinged. Do you already have one so I can think about it while you've already got yours prepped?
I don't have it like at the tip top of my tongue, but.
Tip top of your tongue.
Oh, I just thought of a great one.
Okay.
It's not even irrational, actually. It's just an ick. When somebody eats food at a bowling alley, that is such an ick for me. I can't do it. You're telling me, oh my gosh, this makes me want to throw up. You are going to put your fingers inside a used ball from other people who you have no idea where their fingers have been. These aren't cleaned out in between. You're putting your fingers into these balls and then you're going to roll.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Then you're going to roll this ball on the dirty ground. It's then going to come through some contraption, which again, you don't know how often they clean those. And I'm not anti-bowling, just anti-eating while bowling. It's going to come through all of this. You're going to go put your hands in shared food a majority of the time. It is normally like chicken fingers and fries and pizza. You're going to put this on other people's food, put it in your mouth, maybe use a napkin, and then go put your fingers back in the ball. I'm sorry. That's an absolute no. Finish your food, wash your hands, and go bowl. They are not things that you do simultaneously. You can eat at a bowling alley, but you best not be going up to that ball in between.
Tell them.
I will tell them.
Listening to a podcast or being on speakerphone in public with no headphones.
Oh, or when someone like does the speak to talk, like the text to talk or whatever, when they're in a group of people.
Talk to text, yeah.
Yeah, we're like in a group of people and then no warning, you're like, send this text to Alex. And I was like, go over there. Like we're talking in a group setting. Why were you just doing that?
I got another one. Someone wearing a mask when they're driving by themselves. I wish that we were all driving bumper cars at that point because I just would like to ram them off the road.
Yeah.
That's another one.
I'm trying to think of like a really irrational one that like doesn't really make sense, but like to me, it's a huge ick.
When someone uses the sponge for...
Oh my gosh. Whatever.
When someone uses the sponge to clean dishes and then doesn't like rinse it out whatsoever.
I do rinse it out. Like you're so not...
Bro, she leaves it a crusty mess and I'm like, gotta get a new one.
Oh yes, my gosh.
Bro.
You are so full of it.
I think I'm going to start an Instagram series.
Okay.
And just documenting the sponge health of the Bush sink.
Oh my gosh. Well, we will be having a team meeting coming up soon where we are all giving our icks. So I am very excited for that. Maybe we'll circle back to this and share some of the team icks that we had.
Excellent. We'll come back.
All right. What's your go-to, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I will opinion?
The first one that comes to mind is... It's so hard to tell what people are actually interested in now because they post something once and then they get a bunch of attention for it. And so then because of the attention, they just start writing that thing out. You could say this for changes in religion, I feel like is the one that comes to mind initially, where it's like, I want to believe so badly that you are as dedicated to this religion change as you're showing. But is it because you're getting the attention that you weren't getting before? Now you're like, okay, this is my thing and I've got to dive full force into this. And so you have to just take everything with kind of a grain of salt. This could go for so many different things.
Yeah. I mean, way smaller topics as well of just like, do you even like that thing or that person? Or is it just like convenient for you? Or is it just like what's popular right now?
And that's why people get so upset with clips. Like they will see something that someone posted on a clip and they're saying, well, I hate that person. I can't believe that they would say that. And it's like, you don't even know if they really meant it in that exact context or truly mean it because of they're getting attention for this thing. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying it's the reality of the situation. And then thirdly, it's like clips themselves are just typically from podcast or just longer form content. So is it really fair to judge off of that when you didn't watch the entirety of the conversation or whatever the case it was?
Well, I guess that goes into mine as like, I don't think everyone should speak out about topics.
Sure.
Like I really dislike the like, your silence is telling type of post, or like, you have a platform, you should talk about it. And it's like, frankly, no, you shouldn't, because you're probably ill-informed, misinformed. And I don't think that anyone who has a platform should all of a sudden speak about all of these topics. It's like, you literally might not be informed on it. And if you then feel pressured to speak on it, have you taken the time to actually understand that topic? Or are you just taking a stance that you think people are going to like? And it's just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you have to say about it, because you likely don't care what you're having to say about it, but you're having to be performative about it. And that's the other thing is like, so what if I were to do all of these things in private of like, let's say I'm an activist for something or I donate a bunch to something, but if I don't talk about it, my silence is telling. Is it? Like, is it actually telling, or is that just something that you wanted to stand on your high horse for?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the more challenging parts of social media at this point, because it's the easiest for people to be on both sides of like, I stand with this person or I hate this person. Yeah. And it's just this extreme mentality of, if we disagree on one thing, now all of a sudden that person's a horrible person. And there's no instance in my life that if I disagree with someone on a singular topic that I'm like, I hate that person. Now, you may bring something to me and I'm like, okay, that may be a different conversation, but off the top of my head right this moment, I may fully disagree, and I may be disappointed that that's how you think about it, and I may be like distant or not be as involved with you, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and talk terrible about you, say I hate you. That's just not how my brain works.
Or because you think this way, then I can't be friends with you type of thing. Right. Like I get it to a sense of like, if I fundamentally believe this and you fundamentally believe something else, like, is that the most aligned person in my life? Maybe not, but I strongly believe I want to, and I can be friends with people that have differing opinions than me.
Well, there's also just tiers to your friendships. Yeah. Like, you are going to have acquaintances, you're going to have better friends, you're going to have great friends, you're going to have your closest friends. And they're all going to have differing portions of your relationship that you have with them. And reality check for adults, you don't have the time to have a gajillion friends. No. It's just the reality of the situation.
If you actually are focusing on your life and doing what you should be doing with your life, you don't have time for that.
Yes. And like, going back to the different topics and feeling like you have to have a platform for it, to believe that someone would have the time to, like, you come to our page, we have an expertise that we are offering to you as a skill that we can guide you on. If you believe that I'm able to invest all of my time to be as great as I am at that craft, but then you expect me to also be this expert on these different topics on anything global, for example, like, if I was to invest all the time there, I'm taking away from the skill that I'm being paid. And I'm also here to provide quality backed information for you. So which one, I can't do both. And so we've got to pick one here. And I personally am going to uphold the standard of what you're coming here to get information from me for. And so I think that that's kind of the thought that I have.
Yeah. Like I can't fix the world by worrying about the world too. Like me just being concerned and consuming all of this media on it, like isn't going to fix the world and fix all of the problems because I'm so in the know about these things. But again, if I am so in the know about those, then there's a lot of things I'm not in the know about. So what do you expect from people? It's like, okay, well then if you're going to care about these things, then you have to care about your health and be an expert for your health. Oh, if you're going to care about that, then you have to care about this. And now you are expected to know all of this. And it's like, I'm going to care about the things that I choose to care about. I'm going to put effort into that. And I'm going to hope that the person and the character that I have and the time that I put towards the thing that I actually want to change is going to have a positive impact.
Period. I'm sure that we'll hear about that one. What's the next? What was yours? Did you have one?
Yeah, I was the one who said that not everyone needs opinion.
That's true. Okay.
Okay. What's a seemingly minor inconvenience that would absolutely ruin your whole day?
Okay, so this is something that I have been horrible about throughout the majority of my life. I could let one thing happen and it would just demoralize my day. So if there's anything that I have gotten exponentially better at over the last year to 2 years, is this, where for example, yesterday, was that yesterday? I was supposed to go get blood panels yesterday. And when I got in the car, the time was almost double what typically is to go get the blood panels. And so I had to call the doctor's office and let them know, like, yo, I'm going to be super late. And I had to reschedule, but I was already driving there. And so typically this would have been horrible for me.
Because it was also, you had to make sure you cut off your food by a certain time. You normally have a snack in the morning. You weren't able to have that snack, which is something that you rely on in the morning.
I didn't train the days prior.
Yeah, you didn't train to line it up. You also got dressed, got ready, went away from your very productive work hours. And that it wasn't just I was on my way there and that. There was multiple other factors that are very valid of this really fucking threw me off.
Yeah, I could make up reasons that are valid that I could have just complained and made a big fuss about it. But it had no benefit to my day. I still had an amazing day yesterday. And so, that is something where I probably could still answer this, but truthfully, it's the thing that I'm trying to fix the most in myself right now. So the things that come to mind, I'm like, I've gotten better at that. So,
because I can think of minor inconveniences that make me upset, but truthfully thinking of ruin my whole day, I couldn't think of something because I was like, we've both shown so much growth over that over the past few years. But I will say two things that just throw me for such a loop and irritate me. Number one is when my Bluetooth won't connect. I literally use the same headphones every day, and then every once in a while, they just won't connect. I'm like, it's the same devices, same thing. And the other thing, I have my own AirPods. Alex has his own AirPods. Somehow, and I have my own devices, he has his own devices that they have constantly been connected to. It's not like we're using each other's stuff and connecting to each other's. I put in my headphone, all of a sudden it picks up his stuff all the time. That really irritates me. It doesn't ruin my whole day, but it irritates me. The other thing that low-key could ruin my mood, not my whole day, is when the Packers lose. It really does mess with my emotions more than I would like to admit. Yeah. But the Packers are the best team in football this year, so we don't got to worry about it. This season, we're going to have incredible moods.
I will say the power going out in this neighborhood.
Oh, literally.
That happens too much. What's the next one?
What are 5 things you'd put in a pentagram to summon me?
What's a pentagram?
Just what are 5 things that you would put to summon you?
What does summon mean?
To get you there.
Okay. I mean, my gosh, why are we using all these words? Pentagon and isn't that a shape? Pentagram to summon. Instead, why don't we just ask, what are 5 things that you would encourage me to...
A pentagram is a 5-pointed star symbol, a design known for...
Is this off of your books or something? I feel like this is a book thing.
No, it's not a book thing.
Okay, sorry. 5 things. Gus
Okay.
is one. Probably not Tucker. I don't think that I would hide Tucker in the background. He would be there, but Gus would be front facing. A
Topo Chico for sure.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was answering for you.
Oh. Okay.
I would take both the dogs.
You don't act like I wouldn't take both the dogs.
I'll take Gus and Tucker, but
You make me look like a horrible person.
no, I mean, Tucker ruins your sleep every single night. I get
Gus
it.
is the love of my life.
Exactly. I get it.
Gus is a sweet angel baby, and Tucker's a menace.
All right.
I love them both so much.
Let me think on this as Gus thinks it's time.
Pants. I need attention right now.
Yeah, I need to get in this right at this moment. Whatever your current favorite book at that moment is, actually just your Kindle.
Yes.
I'll take your Kindle. I'll take Gus. That's 2. What's another comfort thing for you that you would just come running? An oversized sweatshirt, probably probably my own. So just one of my bigger sweatshirts. That's 3. Gosh, I mean, that's a really strong list to begin with. I have your Kindle, your sweatshirt, and Gus. I have low chances of you not coming. And what else comes to mind for you?
Like tortilla chips, probably.
Tortilla
or
chips.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. I'll take the
One of the
popcorn over
two.
the tortilla chips.
And then
Or maybe just Mexican, like like a fajitas and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong list.
You can't think of anything else that would summon me.
I mean, not as strongly as those. Those are upper echelon.
So is it my turn now?
Yep, go ahead.
Topo Chico,
Okay.
frosted animal crackers.
Is this all going to be food related?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Packers tickets is the
That's-
5th one for you.
Okay. I was just about to say something Packers related
Well,
for you.
sucks to suck because you can't copy.
You can't copy.
Yeah, we have too much overlapping interest. This can't apply.
Okay. And it says 5 things, so it can't be like a person, I guess.
This is our longest podcast in such a long time. What
We
percent of people
started
are
it
still hanging
later.
around?
People love us.
I agree, but I would say 10%
I
of
bet
listeners
it's
at this
about
point.
100% of this.
Go us.
It's probably 10%.
All right.
Okay. Topo Chico, frosted animal crackers, pictures of me
Sure. Pictures of yourself.
would summon you for sure.
Sure. I agree. Come on.
Why
let's
did you
get
say sure?
Come on. We're now down to 7%.
I should have thought about this before.
I can't believe you got the questions and then didn't think about any of the responses for
I got the
yourself.
questions and said, this is a really good question. And then I didn't have the brain power to think of an answer when I put this together. So I'm sorry. I'll come back. We'll come back with the icks and I'll come back with better answers for the pentagram. Okay.
We're down to 4%. We might as well call it here.
Okay. That's what I just said. We'll call it. We'll circle back and people will hear it. We'll do it at the beginning of the episode. So 100% of the people hear
If
it.
you're listening to the episode right now, please send us a DM on Instagram. It would mean the world to us. And
Yeah.
I owe you a hug in person at bare minimum at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for joining us, the last 4% of people. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
See ya.